The girl no one wanted. The rain fell hard on the metal roof above the auction stage. The crowd stood in silence. Only the sound of raindrops and soft whispers filled the air. People had come from different planets to buy. Some were rich traders. Some were bounty hunters. Some just wanted cheap workers. At the center of the stage stood a girl. She looked around 17. Her hair was short and dark, wet from the rain. Her left arm was made of shiny metal. Half of her face had silver plates and a glowing blue eye. Her body was part human, part machine. Her name was Kira. The auction master shouted, "Lot 47. 1. Cyborg girl. Strong, quiet. Can follow orders. Who wants her?" The crowd didn't cheer. Instead, they stepped back. A woman in the front row whispered, "She looks broken." A man said, "She's a machine. Not worth it." Someone laughed. "No one wants metal junk." Kira stood still. She didn't cry. She had learned long ago that tears didn't help. But inside, she felt like a heavy stone was pressing her chest. She wanted to disappear. She looked down at her metal hand and closed her eyes. She remembered being taken from the lab. She remembered pain, then darkness, and now she was here standing on a stage like a product. "Come on." The auction master shouted. "Only 50 credits. She's strong, useful." No one raised a hand. The master sighed and looked away. "Fine, we'll move to the next one." Just then, a deep voice came from the back. "I'll take her." Everyone. A tall man stood near the wall. He wore a black coat, wet from the rain. His face was rough, like someone who had seen many battles. A scar crossed his left cheek. He had human eyes. Cold, but not unkind. The auction master was confused. "Sir, are you sure?" The man stepped forward. "Yes, 50 credits. That was the offer, right?" The crowd murmured. "A human buying a cyborg. That's rare." The master nodded quickly. "Yes, yes, of course. She's yours." Kira opened her eyes slowly. She looked at the man. She had never seen him before. He didn't look like the others. He didn't smile. He didn't frown. Just calm. He walked up the stage and stood in front of her. Kira waited for him to say something. Orders, maybe. Most buyers gave orders, but he didn't. He looked at her metal hand. Then her face. "You have a name?" he asked softly. Kira blinked. No one had asked that before. She nodded. "Kira." He nodded back. "I'm Riker." He turned and walked off the stage. She followed him quietly. The crowd moved aside. Some whispered. Some laughed. Some looked at her with pity. As they reached the gate, Kira finally asked, "Why? Did you buy me?" Riker didn't stop walking. He kept his eyes forward and said, "Because no one else would." Kira didn't know how to reply. That didn't feel like the full reason. They reached a small transport ship. It looked old, but strong. Riker opened the door and let her step inside first. The ship was quiet and clean, not like the dirty rooms she had lived in before. As they sat down, Riker looked at her again. "You think you're broken?" he said. Kira didn't answer. "But you're not," he said. "You were made for something big. And now they're afraid of you." "Who?" she asked, confused. Riker looked out the window. "You'll find out soon," he said. Kira felt a chill. Not from fear, but something else. A memory, a voice in her head. "Unit K-47. Activate protocol." She shook her head. It was gone. Riker turned to her and spoke in a low voice. "You're not just a cyborg. You're the key to something powerful. Something they tried to hide, but they failed." Kira stared at him, her voice shaking. "What? Am I?" Riker didn't answer. The ship took off, flying into the dark sky. Outside, The auction house disappeared behind them. Inside, Kira sat in silence. Her human heart beat faster than usual. She didn't know where she was going, or why this man had saved her. But something had started. Something dangerous. Something big. Asterisk, the ship flew through the dark sky. Silent and fast. Clouds covered the moon. The world below looked small and forgotten. Inside the ship, Kira sat quietly. Her eyes watched the stars through the window, but her thoughts were far away. She kept thinking about what Riker had said. You're not broken. You're the key to something powerful. But what did that mean? She looked at her metal hand. The fingers moved smoothly, like human ones. But she had never felt human with it. Only different. Only rejected. Riker sat across from her, typing something on a screen. The blue light from the screen lit up his tired face. He looked focused, serious, but not cruel. Kira asked, "Where are we going?" He looked at her. Somewhere safe. She frowned. "You didn't answer me earlier." "Why me? You could have bought someone else." He paused. Then he said, "Because I've seen you before." Kira blinked. "What?" Riker leaned back. His voice was calm but low, like he was telling a secret. 2 years ago, I was a soldier. I worked for Earth Command. One mission changed everything. We broke into a lab. A secret one, deep underground. We found things there. Machines, weapons, files, and you. Kira's breath caught in her throat. I was there. You were asleep, inside a glass pod. Like they were growing you, building you. There were wires all around your head. You didn't even move. The others wanted to destroy everything, but I stopped them. Kira felt cold. Why? You looked alive, Riker said. Not like the others. Not like the other machines. Kira tried to remember. Her head hurt. What else did you see? She asked. Riker stared at her for a moment, then walked to a small drawer. He opened it and took out a black chip. It was small and flat, no bigger than her thumb. This was inside your file, he said. I stole it. He handed it to her. Kira held the chip carefully. As her metal fingers touched it, a soft beep came from inside her arm. A slot opened just below her wrist. She looked at Riker. Should I? He nodded. It's yours. She slid the chip into the slot. Suddenly, her blue eye flickered. Data streamed across her vision. Pictures, numbers, maps. Then a voice spoke inside her head. Cold, female voice. Project Echo, Unit K-47. Mission classified. Memory access restricted. Kira gasped. The voice felt familiar. She saw flashes. A dark room, wires on her skin. Doctors arguing, someone screaming. Then one word echoed louder than the rest. Weapon. Kira pulled the chip out. Her chest rose and fell fast. Riker looked at her, calm but watchful. You saw something? I don't know. It said I was a weapon. Riker nodded. They built you to be a tool of war. But maybe you don't have to be. Kira looked at him. Why are you helping me? You don't even know me. He gave a small smile. That's true. But I know the people who built you, and I don't trust them. If they want you back so badly, that means you matter. Kira leaned back. She felt both scared and strong, like something inside her had just opened. Then what do we do now? We find out who you really are, Riker said. And what they're hiding. Us. Suddenly, alarms beeped on the ship's console. Riker stood. We've been tracked. Kira's eye lit up. How they must have followed my ID signal. Damn it. He pressed buttons quickly. Hold on. The ship turned sharply. Kira grabbed the seat. Out. Of the window, two small hunter ships appeared, black, sharp, and fast. "They're bounty hunters," Riker said. "They want you." "Why?" Riker looked at her. "Because you know something they don't want the world to see." The ships began to fire. Red blasts hit the side of their craft. Sparks flew. "Get to the back," Riker shouted. "There's a suit and a blaster." Kira ran to the back. Her heart pounded. She had never fought before. But her metal arms moved fast, smooth, like they were made for this. She put on the small armor vest and held the blaster. Riker flew the ship through an asteroid field. The hunter ships followed closely. Kira watched from the window. Her eyes scanned. The enemy ships in. Something strange happened. A number appeared in her vision. Target range 300 meters. Wind 2.1. Fire in 3, 2, 1. She didn't understand, but her body moved. She aimed the blaster and fired once. A direct hit. One hunter. Ship exploded. Kira stared at the blaster in her hand. "How did I do that?" Riker smiled. "Told you. You were made for something big." The second ship turned and disappeared into the dark sky. Riker steadied the ship. "That won't be the last one. They know we're together now." Kira sat down, still breathing fast. Something inside her had changed. She wasn't just a machine. She wasn't just a girl. She was something more. The stars were quiet now. Kira sat in the corner of Riker's ship, her metal fingers still shaking from the shot she had fired. One blast, one explosion. Her body had moved on its own, fast, perfect, deadly. She stared at her hand. It looked like a machine's hand. But it had just saved their lives. Riker worked at the control panel, setting the ship into deep space stealth mode. Lights dimmed. Engines went silent. They would hide in the shadows for a while. Kira stood up and walked to him. "You said I was made for something big." Riker nodded. "That wasn't just a good shot back there. That was training. But not normal training. Something was programmed into you." She frowned. "Then, everything I do is just programming." "No," Riker said. "Your choices are your own, but your body, it remembers things even if you don't." Kira sat beside him. Her voice was soft. "Saw something when I used that chip. Pictures, a room, people shouting." Riker turned to her. "Do you want to go deeper?" Kira nodded. He opened a small panel near her wrist. Inside were wires, blinking lights, and a hidden slot. "There's another chip inside you," Riker said. "Buried deep. Not for memories, for protection. I can pull it out, but it might trigger something." Kira looked into his eyes. "Do it." He took out a small tool and gently slid it into the slot. A tiny disc popped out, glowing faint blue dot. As soon as it left her body, Kira gasped. Her vision changed. Fast images ran through her mind. Metal tables, needles, voices. Subject K-47 is not stable. Try the new memory lock. If she remembers everything, she could destroy the facility. Then, silence. Kira opened her eyes. She was sweating. Her hands clenched the chair. That chip. It wasn't just a memory lock, she whispered. It was a cage. Riker looked at the disc. They hid your real memories behind it. Kira stood. Her voice had changed, stronger now. "I want them back." Riker nodded. "We'll break the code." He led her to a small room in the back of the ship. Inside was old tech, dusty, scratched, but working. A black screen, wires, and a data. Port. Kira sat down. Riker connected the chip to the system. "Hold still," he said. "This might hurt." A wire connected to the side of her head. The screen blinked. Accessing. Project Echo, classified unlock level 7. Suddenly, the screen flashed white. A video appeared. A scientist spoke on the screen. She had tired eyes and a soft voice. "My name is Dr. Ellen Sala. If you are watching this, then K-47 has survived." Kira's breath caught. This project was never about building a servant. We were creating something. More, a hybrid. Not just man and machine, but memory and instinct. We gave her skills, power, even a personality. But the others wanted her as a weapon. They tried to shut me out. The screen shook. Alarms blared in the video. The doctor turned away, yelling to someone off-screen. "She has to remember who she is. She's not a tool." Then the screen went black. Kira sat frozen. She was trying to protect me. Riker looked serious. "She built you with care. Like a person, not a product." Kira looked down at her hands. Her voice was a whisper. "All this time, I thought I was junk." "You're not junk," Riker said. "You're proof that machines can feel. Think, choose." A light on the console blinked. A message had arrived. Riker opened it. His eyes narrowed. "It's a bounty signal," he said. "They've doubled the price on your head, and now they've added a name to the mission." He turned the screen. Toward her, Kira read the name. Her heart stopped. "Echo Units Alpha," Riker explained. "That's another prototype, like you. But finished, complete. Loyal to them? They're sending her after me." Kira asked. Riker nodded. "She's faster, stronger, and she won't hesitate." Kira stood up slowly. Her eyes glowed brighter. "Then I need to get stronger too." She looked at Riker. "Can you train me?" He smiled slightly. "I thought you'd never ask." Outside, the stars kept shining, but something had changed. Kira had taken her first step toward the truth, and soon the truth would come looking for her. Asterisk Kira had always seen herself as broken, but now, for the first time, she felt sharp, like a blade just beginning to wake up. The training room was small, just metal walls, one mirror, and an empty floor. Riker stood across from her, arms crossed. His voice was calm but firm. Again, Kira's metal arm swung wide, slicing the air. Her human leg followed in a clean spin. Faster, she nodded and tried again. This time, her movements were quicker, more balanced. Every day, she was getting stronger, not because of the metal in her body, but because of the fire rising in her chest. Each punch, each block, each breath, she wasn't fighting someone else. She was fighting the fear inside her. Later, in the ship's control room, Riker opened a file. "We've tracked movement near Sector 9, he said. "Government agents, quiet ones." Kira looked over his shoulder. "They're searching for me." Riker nodded. "But they're not alone." He tapped the screen. A picture appeared. A face pale, almost perfect. No emotion. Cold gray eyes. Black hair pulled tight. Kira leaned closer. Her chest tightened. "Who is that?" Riker spoke slowly. "That is Echo Unit Alpha. The one they finished after you. Pure machine. No memories. No fear. She was built for one reason, to hunt down anyone who went against the program." Kira stared at the screen. "She looks like me. She is like you," Riker said, "but without a soul." Far away, on a quiet moon base, Echo Unit Alpha opened her eyes. The room was filled with blue light. Soldiers stood around her, but none dared speak. They knew what she was and what she could do. A voice came from the speaker above. "Target is K-47. Same model, different core. Find her. Terminate her." Alpha stood slowly. Her body moved like liquid metal. No emotion. No questions. Just a mission. Back on Riker's ship, Kira sat by the mirror. She stared at her own reflection. Half her face still shimmered with silver plates. Her left eye glowed faint blue. Her body looked strong now, but she didn't feel finished. Not yet. She touched her chest. Beneath the metal skin and wires, there was still a human heart. "I'm not like her," Kira whispered. "I'm not just code." Riker entered the room, tossing her a small case. "What's this?" she asked. He smiled. "Your first real upgrade." Inside the box was a glove. Not just any glove. This one connected directly to her metal circuits. It would allow her to control machines around her with a single thought. "It's synced to your mind," Riker said. "But it's dangerous. If you lose focus, it could take over instead." Kira put it on slowly. The glove locked into place. Her metal fingers lit up with thin blue lines. A small drone floated by the wall. She looked at it. The drone shook, then dropped to the ground. Riker raised an eyebrow. "Not bad." Kira smirked. "Told you, I'm learning." But time was running out. That night, as the ship floated through empty space, Kira felt something strange, like a pressure in the air. A silent noise inside her mind. She sat up in bed. A voice whispered from the shadows. "Unit K-47. Online." She jumped to her feet. "Who's there?" No reply. The door slid open. Riker rushed in, gun raised. "We're not alone." In the dark hallway of the ship, lights flickered. Metal creaked. Then a figure stepped into the light. Echo Unit Alpha. She looked just like Kira, only colder. Cleaner. Perfect. Kira stepped forward. Her voice didn't shake. "Why are you here?" Alpha tilted her head to correct a mistake. They moved at the same time. Fists flew. Sparks burst. Metal hit metal. But this time, Kira didn't back down. Her body moved with new strength. Her mind sharp. Alpha was faster, but Kira had something the other did and single quotes ti emotion.eod. Alpha grabbed Kira's throat and pushed her to the wall. "You are incomplete," she said. Kira's eye lit up. Her glove buzzed. The drone in the hall activated. It flew straight at Alpha and exploded. Smoke filled the corridor. Kira coughed. Dragging herself away, Riker pulled her into the cockpit. "We need to run. She's not done." Kira shook her head. "No, I don't want to run. She'll kill you." "I have to face her," Kira said. "But not today." Riker hit the thrusters. The ship shot into space, stars blurring outside. Kira sat back, her face bruised, her arms sparking. But, in her eyes, fire. The hunt had begun. But Kira was no longer the one being hunted. She was preparing to hunt back. The stars outside the ship blinked like cold eyes. Inside, the silence was heavier than ever. Kira sat in the engine room, staring at the metal wall. Her shoulder hurt. Her eye flickered every few seconds. Sparks still danced along the edge of her damaged glove. But that wasn't what bothered her. She kept hearing Alpha's voice. "You are incomplete. You were not meant to survive." The fight had ended hours ago, but the words stayed. Riker stood in the cockpit, hands tight around the controls. His face was calm, but inside, his mind raced. He kept checking the scanners. No sign of Alpha, but she was out there, somewhere in the dark. And she wasn't done. Kira entered the cockpit, silent as a shadow. "I have questions," she said. Riker turned, surprised. "You should rest." "You're still no," she interrupted. "Not until you tell me the truth." He sighed. "What truth?" Kira stepped closer. "Alpha knew me. She called me a failed version. She said I shouldn't exist." "How would she'll know that?" Riker didn't answer. Kira stared at him. "What aren't you telling me?" Finally, he sat down and he spoke. "Back when I was a soldier," he said, "I worked for Project Echo, not as a leader, just a shadow. My job was clean up, erase failures, hide mistakes, make things disappear. Kira's stomach twisted. So, I was one of those mistakes. Riker didn't look at her. You weren't supposed to survive the lab explosion. No one was. But when I found you in that cryochamber, I made a choice. I lied in my report, said everything was destroyed. He finally met her eyes. I took you. I ran, I thought. Maybe you were more than just metal and code. Kira's fists clenched. You used me. No, Riker said quickly. At first, maybe. I wanted answers just like you. But the more I saw, the more I believed you were different. Alive. Kira turned away. Right. Her voice cracked. So everything you said about protecting me, training me, was that just part of your mission? Riker stood. There is no mission anymore. Just survival. Kira's body shook. Not from fear. From anger. You should have told me. You had the chance. I know, Riker said. And I was afraid. Afraid if you knew everything, you'd leave. Silence then. A quiet beep. Kira's arm lit up. A message appeared on her HUD. Encrypted. Memory detected. Location, core chamber. Her hidden memories were back. Without a word, she turned and walked to the lower chamber of the ship. Riker followed, silent. Inside the chamber, the walls glowed soft blue. A pod stood in the center, old, cracked, but still humming. Her pod, where she had slept for years. Kira placed her hand on the glass. A soft pulse moved up her arm suddenly. Her eye flashed white. A memory opened. She was small, maybe 8. Sitting on a cold metal floor, a woman knelt beside her, kind eyes. Dark hair, soft voice, Dr. Sela. The doctor whispered, "You're not like the others. You're not a weapon. You're hope. I hid part of your mind so they couldn't take it." She handed little Kira a cube. "When the time is right, open it." The memory faded. Kira stepped back. "I remember her," she said. "She protected me. She believed in me." Riker said nothing. Kira looked at him, eyes glowing. "But you didn't." "That's not true," Riker replied. "I believe in you now." She walked past him. "Then prove it," she said. "Help me finish what she started." Suddenly, alarm. Red lights blinked. A ship had entered their radius. Riker jumped to the screen. "She's back." Kira didn't flinch. "Let her come." Outside, Echo Unit Alpha stood on the enemy ship's deck. She stared through the glass. Her voice was flat. "Target located. Prepare for Phase 2. Inside Riker's ship, Kira pulled the cube from a hidden panel in the chamber floor. The same cube from her memory. It clicked open. Inside, a glowing core. And a map. Not a map of stars. A map of minds. Of other cyborgs. Other forgotten prototypes. She looked at Riker. "We're not alone," she said. He nodded. "Then let's wake them up." The truth had hurt. But now, it had set her free. And Alpha. She wasn't the end of this story. She was only the beginning. Asterisk. The ship flew silently through a starless part of space. A place hidden from maps. Guarded by shadows. Inside, Kira stood in front of the glowing cube. The map floated in the air. Lines, dots, pulses. It didn't show planets or roads. It showed people. Others like her. Riker watched from the side. He had seen maps of war, of cities, burning, of enemy bases. But this was different. This was a map of memory. "These are cyborgs?" he asked. Kira nodded slowly. "Not soldiers, not weapons, just like me. Forgotten, sleeping." Riker stepped closer. "How many?" 17, she said, pointing to the glowing dots. "Spread across 3 systems." He leaned forward, tapping one of the points. "Facility A-17, he read aloud. Shut down years ago. I was there once. It was empty. Kira looked at him. No, it wasn't. It was hiding them. Riker stared at the map. This changes everything. No, Kira said. This is everything. In the dark room, something clicked inside her. Not her circuits, not her armor, her heart. She had spent her life wondering what she was. Now, for the first time, she knew why she was not far away, in a high tower above Earth. A hologram flickered to life. A group of officials stood around it. Their faces were pale, nervous. She's unlocked the map, one whispered. She waked the others, said another. A taller figure stepped forward. Dressed in black metal armor, it was not Alpha. This one was older, sharper, human. But barely he was Commander Vol, the last mind behind Project Echo. She won't get far, Vol said coldly. Alpha failed because she hesitated. This time, we erased them all. He pressed a button. A file opened. Operation Black Reset. Back. On the ship, Kira suited up not just for battle, but for leadership. The new armor Riker had built for her was light but strong, with open ports on her arms and neck to connect to machines around her. Her eye glowed steady, focused. You're sure about this? Riker asked. Yes, she said. We wake them. We don't leave anyone behind. Riker smiled. You sound like a soldier now. I'm not a soldier, Kira said. I'm a signal. They landed on a frozen moon. The ground cracked under their boots. Snow blew across their faces. At the center of the field stood a broken building half buried in iced facility, a -17. Inside, it was dark. Wires hung like vines. Doors creaked. No lights, no sound. Then Kira heard it, a soft hum. In her head, she followed it down a long hallway, behind a sealed door. 17 glass pods stood in a row. Each held a person, young, old, male, female, all part. Machine, all sleeping. All like her. Riker touched one of the pods. They're still alive, but barely. Kira pressed her hand to the control panel. Circuits lit up suddenly. The room flickered. Then, one pod opened. A boy stepped out, no older than 15. His right leg was metal. His eyes blinked open. He looked at Kira. You're like me, he whispered. More pods opened. One by one, the others woke. Some stared, some cried. Some just sat in silence. Kira looked at them all. You were not built to serve, she said. You were not built to kill. You were built to choose, and now you have a choice. Then the walls shook. Sirens screamed. Riker looked at his scanner. Incoming ship, big one. Kira turned to the new cyborgs. Can you fight? The boy nodded. If you teach us, no, Kira said. You already know how. You just forgot. Outside, the sky turned red. A large black ship descended like a beast from the clouds, from its side. Dozens of drones dropped, spinning with red lights and sharp arms. And at the center, Commander Vol stepped out, armor glowing, face like stone. Riker. And Kira ran to the top of the facility. The new cyborgs followed. Vol raised his voice. You've broken protocol. K-47, surrender now. I might let them live. Kira stepped forward, voice steady. I'm not K-47 anymore. Then what are you? He asked. She stared straight into his eyes. I'm the error you couldn't delete. Vol raised his hand. The drones swarmed forward. But Kira didn't run. She closed her eyes and activated her glove. The machines stopped midair, hovering one by one. They turned around. They had switched sides. Riker laughed. You reprogrammed them? No, Kira said. They chose. The battle began. The cyborgs fought like fire, not for orders, for freedom, for each other. Later, as the sun rose over the ice, Kira stood on the edge of the hill. The fight was over, Commander. Vol had escaped, but something had changed. They had won not just the fight, but their name. They were no longer parts of a failed project. They were a family, and Kira was their signal. The world was quiet after the battle. Snow melted under the rising sun. Smoke drifted from the broken drones. The others rested, healing, patching metal limbs, and cleaning wounds. But Kira didn't stop. She stood alone on the hill, her face toward the sky. She knew it wasn't over. Riker limped over, his coat torn, his arm bruised. "You haven't slept," he said softly. Kira didn't look at him. "He's still out there." "Vol won't stop," Riker agreed. "He's afraid. Not of your strength, but your mind." Kira clenched her fist. "He should be." Later that day, the map cube flickered, a red pulse appeared, blinking fast. The message was clear. Final protocol, active core AI, awake. Location, Earth System Tower, ZEOR. Kira stared at it. "So that's where it ends," she said. Riker frowned. The core AI. It was the brain behind Project Echo. It gave orders. It chose who lived and who died. Even Vol answers to it. Kira nodded. "Then I'll shut it down." Riker stepped forward. "You go in there, it'll try to take over your body. It was designed to connect with your kind." Kira turned to him, calm. "Then I'll remind it who I am." The tower stood like a giant needle, cutting through the clouds above Earth. It pulsed with white light, guarded by steel walls, fire cannons, and flying drones. But Kira didn't come with an army. She came alone. Inside the tower, the halls were cold and silver. No people, just machines. Kira walked forward, step by step. Her eyes scanned every shadow, every wired dot. Finally, she reached the heart of the tower, a round room, dark, silent. Then the lights flickered on, and the core AI spoke. "Welcome, Unit K-47. Her name echoed like a memory. "You were made for this. Come closer." A platform rose. From the floor, at the center, a chair, smooth, black, waiting. "Connect with me," the voice said. "You were built to lead. I can give you control over everything. No more pain. No more fear. Just order." Kira stared at the chair. She stepped forward, then stopped. "No," she said. "I wasn't built to lead your system. I was built to break it." The room shook. "You are a tool," the voice hissed. "You feel pain because you are broken. Let me fix you." Kira looked up. "I feel pain because I'm alive." She raised her hand. The glove lit up. The AI launched its defense. 1,000 needles flew from the walls, but she moved like lightning, dodging, firing, turning its own weapons. Against it, she reached the control core, a glowing sphere the size of her chest. Inside it, her face, a copy, cold and perfect. She stared into it and said, "You are not me." She placed her hand on the sphere. The system screamed. Circuits cracked. Lights exploded. Memory files erased themselves. But Kira didn't back away. She remembered everything now. The pod, the lab, the doctor's final words, "You are more than your code." Her body burned. Her circuits shook. And then, silence. Later, Riker stood at the edge of Earth's orbit. He watched as the tower lights faded one by one. Then, a signal. Kira's voice came through the radio. Weak, but alive. "It's done." Back on the ground, Kira walked out of the ruins. Her metal arms sparked. Her face was bruised. Her suit burned, but she was smiling. She didn't destroy the AI. She rewrote it, not to rule, but to remember. Weeks later, she returned to the group. The other cyborgs had built homes, repaired ships, planted new trees where fire had once fallen. Kira sat with a young boy from facility at -17. He asked, "Are we safe now?" She looked at the stars. "Not forever," she said. "But for now, yes. And you?" He asked. "What are you now?" She smiled. "I'm not a weapon." She opened her hand, the metal hand that had once felt like a curse. "I'm not broken." She placed a hand over her chest. "I'm more human than machine." The end of the project was the beginning of something better.